It is the 27th of March, 2023! And it's the Should I Play This Game podcast, episode 278. I remembered stuff, Graham. Thanks.
It's also on the screen in front of you, so it's really hard for you
That's
to
beside the point. I remembered it. I remembered to say it. Yes,
well
it's
done.
on the screen.
Well done, you.
Well done for reading the screen.
Nailed it.
Yes! It doesn't happen often, but when it happens, we need to celebrate it.
It surprises all.
Yeah, I know, right? Fuck. How's tricks?
Yeah, not much. Not going on. Going well. Going good. Yes. Can't complain.
Hooray!
Yeah, but yourself?
A couple weeks till the old... Hey?
How about yourself?
Oh, it's like 9 work days until school holidays / Easter. But who's counting?
Okay. Yep. Seems like yesterday you had your last break.
Hey, yeah, I know, right? So you get 5 days off for Easter?
No, just the 2. So it's Easter Friday,
Wait,
Easter Friday, Easter Monday is all I get.
Oh, I was counting the Saturday and Sunday as well.
That doesn't. No, just the 2.
I know it's a weekend, but still.
Just the national holidays is all I get. Yep.
Wait, didn't there used to be an Easter Tuesday?
Some public services get it off in some states, but not every. It's not a national holiday.
Oh, how about that?
So yeah, you probably get it off.
That's a bit unfortunate, isn't it?
Yeah, so if I was still working where I used to work before I changed jobs, I would actually get Easter Tuesday off as well, but I don't.
Well, look, the things we give up.
Yes.
Public holidays in exchange for about 30% more money.
Yeah, basically.
Is it worth it? Who can say?
No, it is.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get down to brass tacks. Games, yes. Graham. That's what we're mainly here to talk about.
Yes, we are. So, there's one game that we both shared, which we'll get to. There's also a video on the side about that one. We'll get to that one in a moment. I basically played 2 other little games. I'm still playing down below. You can see I'm still playing Satisfactory and the New Settlers, and the Settlers, I should say.
I can't see the list.
Oh, I should change that, should I? Let's do. What can we do? Let's do what this one does. Not what this one does. Ooh, look at that.
Oh shit! Holy crap!
I've got
hang on. I don't think I can talk yet. I just need to take that in. There's a part of me that wants you to do it again.
I can do that. I can go back to the other one. Let's go back to this one and go. Oh, what's this one? This one. Ooh.
Way! Graham's been playing with VMix.
Yep, let's do. So this is called Cube Zoom. This one.
Ooh.
That's called Cube Zoom. That one.
Hey.
There we go.
So there's the list of games.
There's the list of games. So I'm still playing Satisfactory and the New Settlers. I've actually got a episode 15 of Solar Factory will go up this week. I finally got around to editing that one. And yeah, still playing the Settlers. Still enjoying it for the most part. Although, yeah, I think it's now getting towards the end of the campaign, so the missions are proving a little bit more trickier than the early ones, which you would kind of expect, I guess. So yeah, it's proving a little bit frustrating in some parts, because I think they sort of don't ramp up the difficulty, they just ramp up the nature of them a bit. That makes them a bit frustrating to contend with, but yeah, that's what it is. But in terms of new ones, I played the Figment 2 Creed Valley for about less than 50 minutes, just as a fallback in place. Yeah, the third game on our list didn't come to fruition, played that. Looks really neat. I must admit, I don't think I played the first one to completion, so I will probably go back to that one first and finish it and play it and finish it before I go on to the second one. But in the literally 13 minutes I played of it, looks really cool. Bulwark Falconeer Chronicles is actually you remember a game from a few years ago called
The Falconeer
Chronicles? That's actually in the same world as that game. This one is a really odd city builder of all things, which is why I played it.
I mean, of course it is because you're talking about it, but still.
Yeah, but it was a weird thing that it was in that that's the genre they've gone to in the second one. So yeah, if you look up Bulwark, just double check this. Yeah, so it's in the same.
So does it have links?
Yep, go for it.
I was going to say, like, the Falconeer was the game that came out where you were basically like sliding along the landscape and all that sort of deal. Is it based? Yeah.
Yeah, like
a fantasy realm shared with the hit game Falconeer. Huh.
Yeah, exactly. So it's in the same universe. It's got clearly no real obvious connection to it other than the name. You
played it?
No, that's what I mean. I didn't play it at all. So
I bought it on Epic, but I never played it.
Okay. Yeah, so it's basically you control this little tiny, like almost like a blimp kind of thing, and that's how you control and build the city up. In the probably half hour or so I've played of it, I found it incredibly difficult to. It's a demo, by the way. It's not actually out yet. It's a demo. It's incredibly hard. I found it incredibly difficult to control because it was not particularly intuitive. The WAS, the WASD keys, they didn't move the character. They didn't move the little thing you controlled. They changed the camera. So it's very unintuitive. And the way you moved was to right click and move your little blimpy thing around. So it's incredibly sort of unintuitive to use because I would just expect you to use the WSA codes to move it, and mouse and keyboard and mouse to control the camera and do actions. But it's not like that. So it's actually quite difficult to sort of navigate and use. I also think that, as with a lot of demos we sort of talked about when the other various fests we've done this year, is I think demos find it hard to do the onboarding in a decent manner. I think that sort of struggles with this one. I wasn't really sure what I was doing or why I was doing it, and wasn't particularly clear how to do some stuff. And some things I think were a little bit. I think their action may be context sensitive as to what the action does, but the key's the same sort of thing. So it made it very hard to sort of, okay, I thought I had to do something like this, and you're saying to use that key, but I did that key did that before, and it just didn't make a real lot of sense to me. But I think in the
concept, not the most effective of demos, then.
Not the most effective of demos, but I did like the look of it. I did like a lot about it, so I think I might just wait till it's out, and then get a sense of it then as to whether they improve that onboarding and improve that sort of initial part of the game. But the concept is kind of neat. You don't sort of build the housing per se. You just build the industry around it, and the houses just build dynamically around that sort of thing. So it's a very interesting sort of tweak on that kind of, or twist or whatever, on that city building sort of thing. So it's intriguing, but I think that onboarding and that control scheme was just a bit difficult. So yeah, looking forward to it. As I said, I'll keep an eye on it when it comes out. I think it's out. I don't think I had
check the Steam page. It just says coming soon.
Coming soon. Yeah, I didn't think it had a date on it. Pretty sure it didn't have a date there. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on it for when it comes out. The game that we both played, there is technically 3 videos on the site, but one is of the same playthrough of Diablo 4. This is the open. This was the closed beta as a part of any pre-orders that you and I both did. I was on the Xbox.
Apparently, if you ordered KFC.
Something to do with KFC. I don't know if that was. Yeah, that was a weird thing. You had to buy certain.
I don't think that happened over here.
I don't think it happened here, but I think in America, if you bought KFC, a particular meal on their side, you got a code, which is just a friggin' weird connection. But that's not entirely unusual.
It freaks me out that Americans call burgers sandwiches. Yeah. I mean, technically, it's not incorrect.
Yeah, but it's not quite. But still. Yeah, so we played the open. Well, what is the technical? It's now an open beta this weekend. For another couple of days.
By the time this goes live, that open beta will probably be done.
We're on the sort of closed beta as a part of that pre-order stuff. I was on the Xbox Series X. You were on your PC. I will keep playing on the Xbox Series X when it comes out. I really, really liked it. I wasn't originally planning to pre-order. But knowing that they had this open beta, I thought, shit, that's going to be an absolute shit show when that happens. We'll get to the shit show part later in a bit. So I thought I'll pre-order, and the only reason I wanted to pre-order, normally I'm against pre-ordering in a general concept, but in this one I wanted to see, did they break Diablo 4? In other words, did they take the stuff they did in Diablo Immortal, or that pay to win stuff,
yeah.
and apply that kind of same thing to Diablo 4? And there are bits of it there, but nothing like what it was in Immortal. There's clearly no timers and stuff. The thing I think they might end up doing in the future about that is those upgrade materials you can pick up around the world. That's something where you may be able to buy them in the future, maybe. But there's no indications in the UI or anything that that's going to be a thing they're going to do. But I think that's something they could potentially do. But either then, I don't think it's going to make a massive difference to the game itself that would actually be a beneficial thing to do. So I'm guessing they won't do anything at all, which is good. That was the main reason for me getting the pre-order, was to check that out. Not that I could have not waited until the game out and just made the decision when it came out, but still. So that was good. It was there to do. So yeah, in terms of the gameplay, look, it's Diablo. You know what it is. It is what it is. Obviously with it being a closed or a beta of some sort, which is based on pre-orders and KFC, the initial part, so the pre-order, the actual beta went up, or started for us, I think, 2 o'clock in the morning my time, so it would have been
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock? I thought it was 2 or 3 o'clock. Yep, in
3
the morning.
o'clock Eastern, midnight over here. I was thinking of staying up to try and get in.
You're thinking
but then I'm like, I was tired, and I'm like, it's going to be fucked.
You'll be fucked, exactly. And basically it was.
And it was.
But so when I first played it or tried to start up, I sent you I think it was a Slack message, I believe.
Yeah, it was a message on Slack with an image.
Yeah, Slack me. Where's it gone?
There's a picture of you standing in front of your television.
Yes, that's right. It was me with a reflection on it. So this was at about lunchtime on the Saturday morning. So this is the morning it's gone up.
Which makes me sound like a real piece of shit when I say I was just waking up when I got that.
Yeah.
But it was lunchtime for you and about 9 o'clock for me.
For you. So it's
not as bad.
Not as bad as it sounds. Yeah. But you still should have earlier than 9 o'clock. But that's a different discussion.
Hey.
So
I was sleeping.
You're sleeping Sundays, not Saturdays. Anyway, that's a different discussion.
Don't get me started. There's a whole thing about sleep and
Anyway, so the first thing that presented with when the game starts up is I'm in a queued for login and approximately 51 minutes left. So I thought, okay, I'll let that sit there. In reality, I think it was probably around the 20-minute mark or 25 minutes mark before it actually. So it wasn't in real time. Essentially, it didn't take 51 minutes. It took less than half an hour. My perception was it. And then I was in. So it wasn't that bad for me. I did also, just for comparison purposes, I put this onto my Xbox Series S, just to see what the performance is like more than anything. And I did notice to see a bit more texture pop in the world environment a bit more, and my impression was that I think there might have been a little bit of more stuttery in the frame rate, maybe, but not too sure. The problem that makes it hard to really to say that for sure is it's an online game.
Yeah, I was going to say, was that kind of network lag?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm about to say. Like, it's hard to tell if that was just network lag, if it's always, the server's been under fire or under, massive strain because of what was happening. Whether that was just a network issue that was causing that, or whether the game's actually been, not performing well on Series S. My gut feel is I'm leaning towards the former, that it was the network side of the equation that was doing it. Because I did see that occasionally, but not as much on the Series X. So maybe it's a combination too. But anyway, and I did get actually booted out of the game twice on the Series S. So that was what I sort of implied. Probably more network than anything. So I was just literally walking along, running along, driving, walking along with my character, and it would just kick me out to the title screen. and said you've been
Did
disconnected
it
from
give
the
you an error message or anything when it did that?
I think it might have been some weird code they put against it, but essentially just said you've been disconnected from the servers. In essence, happened a couple of times. Never happened once on the Series X, which is intriguing. But
I was going to say it never happened to me.
Yeah, so it never happened on the Series X, but
And
happened.
I played a lot more of that beta than you did.
Yeah, no, I mean, so I didn't see it on the Series X. Saw it twice on Series S within like a half-hour window, essentially, when I was just trying to see how it was like.
Weird.
So that
It's a beta.
It's a beta, so is what it is. But yeah, the game itself is really, really bloody good. They have changed the skill system a fair bit from Diablo 3.
Yep.
I actually went back to Diablo 3 briefly just to get remind myself how the skill system worked in that game, because I thought it was different, but I wasn't really sure how. In Diablo 3, you had your primary weapon, your secondary weapon, a passive, not a passive. What was the term they used? It was like
there was active, there was passive, and there was two other ones.
Devices and something. They had different names for the basically the skill slots. And you can basically put anything in the skills that you wanted to, like in terms of whatever weapons you wanted, or whatever you wanted. But you were limited. So your primary and secondary could be the same. So it's defensive, which where you put your things like your caltrops, stuff like that. Hunting was your 4th slot. Devices was your 5th slot, and and the last one was your archery. So you have primary and secondary.
I'm thinking that's rogue specific because
definitely rogue specific. It would be the same. Archery might be the only one that changes. The only one that would be changed would be archery. That might be shield or something if you're doing like a barbarian or something.
I was a monk.
Yep. But what they also had once you chose your skill in that whatever slot you approached to, you then had a rune you could apply to it, which basically put in various buffs of various natures on top of the skill, like
different modifiers and
and stuff like that. So, so when you would makes more hatred get developed, which is the rogue mana equivalents, whatever. So they've gone away from that a little bit. It's the same. The concept's there, but not quite there. If that makes sense. So you've got you got very similar skill. Like they still got rapid fire and those sorts of skills you can choose from. But you then can have ranking them up. In other words, so they do more damage over time.
It's more of an actual skill tree that you're depositing points into,
rather than selecting a particular slot and it going. Once you've then unlocked a particular skill, you can assign to any one of the buttons you've got on your controller or on the keyboard or whatever. You've then got the ability to rank it up.
Which was a big criticism of Diablo 3 from the purists.
Yeah, for sure.
They preferred a bit more
control over how they play. Exactly, which is what this does give them now with the more control over that. You can rank up most of the things to at least level 5 of each one of them. Each one takes obviously a skill point to do it, so you should have got to balance that between. And each time you do use a skill point, regardless of what you use it in, you're progressing down the skill tree. So you don't unlock. You unlock things rather than sort of unlocking them with leveling up, which is kind of where you get the skill points from. You unlock the skill tree further by actually activating skills, accepting and upgrading skills. And so you might get. So first skill point, I can't remember what they did give them categories like the core skills and
active skills
and something else. I can't remember what they were now, but the very last one was like ultimates and that kind of stuff. So yeah, basically as you go along, you then activate it, and then you've got little off each of the main skills you're choosing, which you can allocate to your, your keys on the keyboard or your controller buttons. You can then sort of do variants on each of those that gives you a particular path that might be, more power or more buffs and debuffs and sort of stuff. So it's sort of a bit similar to the rune system, but not quite as many options.
It's more of a middle ground between what Diablo 3 and Diablo 2 did.
Yeah, so Diablo 3 had 5 runes you could apply to once you've selected your skill, whereas this one seems that once you've set the skill, you can upgrade it to level 5 version of it, which is just more powerful, nothing more to it. But then have I think you can then have a second stage which activates something, then you get 2 stages after that, but you can only choose one of them times, so you can't.
Yes. So
it's sort of similar to the rune in a way, but rather than having 5 options, you've only got 2, sort of thing. And there are some passive boosts in there as well that you can activate. I think they're the passives that are in those particular groups of skill sets. So It's probably going to be a little bit of a mind playing for people who played a lot of Diablo 3, but as you said, if you've played Diablo 2 a fair bit, you're probably going to be able to get into that more quickly, get around that concept quicker.
You're going to be able to be much more specialized in the character build you want to have, and things like that.
Yeah, so I played as a rogue in one character, leveled up to about level 12 or 13, I think. And then on the playthrough, that was just when I was playing on my own. Then when we played through the beta, when we teamed up, which seeing how badly that was, it was actually really simple to get together once we understood how we freaking did it.
Once everything. It was made more complicated because you had like 2 BattleNet accounts.
Yeah, so I don't know why I did this. I changed BattleNet accounts for some reason. I don't know why. I think because I probably thought I couldn't get into one, so I just created a new one. So yeah. So because when I booted up the game on the console, it was using a particular old BattleNet account, not the new one, and then we tried to, so we got it all sorted out. But once we actually got
count recovery is a motherfucker.
Count recovery and multipliers and stuff like that. Once we actually got it, once we got that all sorted out, the actual ability to team up in the game itself was relatively quick and painless. So, giving all the stuff that was on file with their setup, I think that was surprisingly easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, once we got together, so I then went as a barbarian in my second playthrough. I think you were a rogue all the way through, weren't you, from memory?
I was a sorcerer the whole way through.
Sorcerer all the way through. That's right, sorcerer.
I wanted a character that would just spew beams of hot death. But I think I'm going to go the rogue when I go in the full version. So the open beta, the early access to the open beta, closed beta, whatever you want to call it, I only had access to 3 of the characters. So between the 2 of us, we'd actually played the 3 characters.
Yep.
And then this weekend gone, I had the druid and the necromancer.
Yeah, they came as
now those are characters I don't really have much of an interest in, so I didn't bother going back in. I'm going to rogue up when it's time for the actual main game when it comes out.
Yep.
Because just the crossbow, different abilities, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And
and I'm
Barbarian's a little too straightforward.
Yeah, I'm going back and forth with I'll play as Barbarian or Rogue, because I did play Rogue as in the Diablo 3, and I really liked the characters. The character's great, and it's got some really cool effects. Like I went back in and played Diablo 3 after we finished recording, and went back and played it for like an hour or so with my level 23 Rogue, and I was just murdering stuff left, right, and centre. It was so much fun.
Yeah, you're just mowing things down.
I just had this rapid fire that was basically. Like it was doing heaps of damage, but it was also during its own hatred. So it would basically almost just auto fire and go on for like 30 seconds and not sort of stop. So it was bloody fantastic. So yeah, so I'm going back and forth.
I said.
So because there is the barbarian in the beta as it currently is a little bit underpowered early on. It's got a different. There actually has been various articles and various websites about it, that they're going to make some changes to that character for the main game when it comes out in June, to make it a little bit more not as weak in the beginning part of the game,
viable and a bit more viable in the early game.
In the early game, because I think I got the rogue. Even I got to level 12 with the rogue, I was doing. I think I was in the double triple digits for damage. I had shitloads of armor, but I couldn't. Like I was playing to level 9 or something, or the barbarian or whatever I got to. I think I was just getting to 60 or 70. So it seems to be a little bit under-spec'd in some aspects of it. They're also saying that once you get to the end game with the barbarian, we're going to be pretty big because
you crush things.
This is because it's got an extra upgrade slot or something they mentioned in the game in the various articles. So if they make those changes, I think I'll probably stick with the barbarian. But yeah, it's going to be hard to not just choose rogue, but we'll see how we go. But yeah, I think they've done the only thing that so that's really the character stuff's really good. Visually, it looks freaking amazing. I think it looks really good. Their cutscenes are the usual Blizzard standards. They are stunning. Voice acting seems pretty good, I think, from the bit we played of it. The thing
that hermit dude's voice is great.
Yeah, is it what is it, Larry Loreth? I think his character's name or something like that.
It is very deep and very British.
Yes. And the thing that they've added into it, I think I mentioned at the top of the segment about this game, was that they've added in upgrade materials that you basically pick up in the environment. There's like 30 to 40, like 20 to 30 of them. I think there seems an awful lot of them.
Bunch of different herbs, bunch of
herbs
different things
sort
like
of
that.
materials like iron and silver and stuff like that, and they'll be used to upgrade your gear. Um, so I'm assuming there'll also be like gems and stuff as well, like they have been in the previous games. But I didn't.
There are, the gems were dropping for me.
Okay, they're dropping for you. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you got your character to 25? No, 22.
True.
22. So you got
22.
22. The level cap in the bad was 25.
Yep.
So, and I got I got two characters to essentially the equivalent of 22, 20, 21, 22 with two characters. So,
I get extra shit when the game comes out because I got to level 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
We also fought the world boss and got fucking smacked.
Got smashed, exactly. So, that's probably the other thing that's different about this game is that in Diablo 3 you didn't have these. So Diablo 4 is more online than Diablo 3 ever was. You could co-op in Diablo 3, of course, but you couldn't. There was no sort of social spaces like there is.
It was less of a live type game.
Yeah. So in this game, we were running around with other characters from other, with other other instances of how they would have done it in terms of a network thing. So you can end up coming across these world events that were like just for you kind of thing to do, and they'll give you extra good loot. But also they had world events that were basically for everybody to jump into and try and attack. And they advertised this after, I think you're leading to the last couple of days of the beta. They actually started advertising this thing's going to be around at this time, this time, and this time. And I didn't make this connection that it was going to be around the time we were playing. So we basically get the end of the demo.
It literally showed up at the end of the first video. It was like, this fucker's coming. And we're like, wait, what?
What? Because we thought it was going to be like middle of the night kind of thing. So obviously they scheduled it so everybody got to go at it. So then we basically said, no, okay, we stopped the video. It's just fun. We start another one. We start another one. We just basically went to the place where it was. Waited like 20 because we got there with a half an hour to spare kind of thing.
It was about 25 minutes. Yeah.
Waited just buggered around, went and did stuff. We ended up having probably maybe a dozen of us. I think were in the area. I think so. It was us two.
I was thinking 8 to 10.
I think it was maybe a dozen or so. But anyway, I was the lowest character. It was at 8 or 9, whenever I was. You at your 22, 20, whatever you're at. We had a 3 or 4 at 25, I think, and a couple sort of in between all that. And this thing just dead on the second. Up comes this friggin' enormous, like rhinoceros looking thing. Like Toad. It had a toad looking. It was anyway. It's a Diablo game. Is going to have some really weird looking characters. And this thing was a fucking night. Look, it's just a beast. But it was actually like if we'd been a couple.
We had 5 more minutes, or like 1 or 2 more.
Yeah, dudes. Exactly. If we had 2 or 3 extra minutes, or a couple of extra dudes, high level dudes, we probably would have got that. We got it down to almost to the end of it. Like there was big health bars you can imagine. It had 4 markers on it, which I don't know. They weren't checked. I don't know what they were for exactly. Maybe
the markers drop health orbs so that you can recharge your health.
Okay.
Health potion charges.
Okay, so that's what that was about. We got through the 4 of those, and I think we had about a third, third left at the very last one. So yeah, if we had an extra couple of dudes and maybe more and a bit more time, we probably would have got killed that guy.
Because it was only around for 15 minutes.
If it basically started, and if you get a time of 50 minutes, and after 50 minutes, it just disappears when it's done. So
it just like hop back into its weird pulsating bloody
weird
ground geyser.
Ground geyser thingamabob, yeah. So basically, I mean, we got absolutely destroyed multiple times because this thing would just do the sweep attacks and the stomp attacks, and if you're anywhere near the blast rate of those things, you were basically dead.
Well, it also did
like charge
elemental damage on the sweep, and there was a poison one as well. Yeah. But also if you got to, so I had like one of my active abilities was like this fire beam called disintegrate, and I could stand back for a good 10-15 seconds. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Oh shit, I'm out of mana. I got to run in and hit him to get more mana.
Give me the back,
and then you go, I'm in a chomp, and he's like, yep, you're dead.
You're dead.
Fuck.
Yeah. And every time
you lose like durability on your item.
Yeah, so it was
back to town to repair that shit.
Yeah, so if you lost 10% of durability of your items every time you had to respawn, which in the main games is basically meaningless, but in this thing where you have to go back in dozens and dozens of times to hit this guy, after probably half a dozen or so deaths, you're going, your stuff's about to break, go fix it. Oh shit! Now, now we go start. I town portal back to the town, quickly repair it, come back in, rinse and repeat for 50 minutes basically, and I mean, I thought about halfway through we were going to get nowhere near it, but we got really close in the end. So
we got very close, and we got a story out of it.
You got to say so. That's good. I mean, I think that concept is really neat to have that stuff in it. It sort of reminds me of the Marvel. Well, I was going to mention it.
Marvel Heroes.
Marvel Heroes, which was an MMO from 2017, 18, something like that. And that had sort of similar concept.
Sadly closed now.
Very sadly, because that was a freaking great game.
I liked that game. That game was fun on console and on PC.
Yeah, it was really good. I really liked that game. I was really sad when that got closed down. Not closed.
Marvel Heroes was dope.
Yeah, it was good. But yeah, so so with that game you had same concept, but you'd have dozens more people were involved in because the scale of the battles was significantly better or bigger. So that was I came away very impressed with the whole thing and very relieved that they hadn't gone the Diablo Immortal path with it and basically screwed it up. So I think it's.
I'm looking forward to that June release date.
Yeah, I'm looking. I know you've got some conflicting on that particular around that window, so but I won't be. I won't.
June's going to be taken up with a whole lot of Street Fighter and a whole lot of Diablo, yeah, and then a week later, E3.
Yeah, whatever that looks like this year. Yeah, so.
Whatever. The Keeleys.
And whatever. So
the summer Keeleys takes place.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that game. It's now. It was obviously going to be on my list, most anticipated, but now it's actually there, knowing that it's actually going to be good. Knowing what it is, and it's actually going to be good. So I'm really looking forward to playing that game when it comes out in June 6th, I believe, is when it's out. So
that's a good call. When is that actually?
I'm pretty sure it's the June 6th. I believe it's June 6th.
You said June 6th. It is June 6th.
Yep, there we go.
Which means when is Street Fighter 6?
Isn't that June 10th or 11th or something?
2nd of June.
Oh, 2nd of June, before it. Okay.
2nd of June, so it's 4 days before.
So depending how... so if that game's on fire as well because of the network stuff, you might just not play that at all. Get to June 6th.
No, there's still the single player. There's still some
substantial
single player stuff in Street Fighter 6 they've shown off.
They've shown off, okay. So it's not a complete problem if it's okay.
I'm not completely fucked.
Yeah, okay. So you get to play that for a bit, and then So that was So Diablo 4 is what we both played. You've got 4 new games on your list, as some returning ones as well. What played you?
What played me? I got played by Desperados 3. That's what I got fucking played by.
Yes, we had a conversation on Slack about that, I think. Was about the other day.
So I don't think I'm smart or patient enough to get past the 3rd mission. I really liked the concept of it, but man. There's a process involved to get to be able to complete the objectives where I don't think I have the patience or the brain for it. Like,
some of
the lack of silence guns and things like that, which is like obviously because it's the West, they didn't have silencers on 6 shooters back then.
Yeah.
So the train was really easy because you had the dude with his medical case and his like long range like silence pistol. Yeah. So I'm like, fuck yeah, that was dope. And you get this dude with his big bear trap, and I'm like, this bear trap's cool, but I've played this for an hour, and I've only killed the first of 4 guys, and I've got to try and figure out how to poison Wild Marge while she's sitting in a room with a prostitute dancing in front of her. Oh, this is all fucked. And I'm like, I was sitting there going, I know Graham finished this. So I've got to be able to finish it too. But like, so I'm sitting there going, I'm like, oh fuck, and I'd already played a bit of what the fuck was the one in feudal Japan. I can't remember what they actually called it.
Shogun something, wasn't it?
Shadow Tactics,
Shogun or something. Yeah.
Shadow Tactics. I'd played a bit of that and basically got to the same point of, oh, this is fucked. Wait, have you played any of that yet?
Oh, I played it because I played Desperados
You played Desperados first.
the first before I even realised the other two games even existed, sort of thing. I've got
Hmm.
them on my well, I did have them at some point on the previous Xbox, but I have. But I have played one of them. I can't remember which one. Probably the second one a bit. Um, it's obviously it's the same concept, of course, but
It's the same concept, just in feudal Japan, so
feudal
there's no
Japan,
guns,
so you got different abilities per
ability
character.
sets, and things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so um,
Like, I like playing it to a point until I get fucked off as like, oh god damn it,
yeah.
and like I respect the hell out of it.
So the thing about that game is, well, we'll get to well, when it comes out. It's the new one of theirs is coming out this
Stealth
year.
Pirates.
It's Pirates, which is looks fucking amazing. They had a big stream of that the other day, I think, for like a couple of
Yeah,
hours.
Future Game Showcase took place the other day.
Yeah, yeah. And they had one of their streams that went for. I just scrubbed through it and said, "Oh, fuck. I'm really looking forward to that game now." Yeah. So the thing about that game, and I'm sure the other ones will like it, is that they were each level mission, whatever you want to call it, was really long, and each bit would have
Mm.
a not a self-contained, but it would have a best sort of word I can come up with. You'd have a small section we had to deal with 3 or 4 dudes there, and maybe a main boss in the area too. Then a bit of free roam before you got to the next point. We have to sort of repeat the
Yeah.
scene. And some of those levels, I just played it on easy. That's the thing about that's what I do. And even then, you're still playing those missions for several hours as you go, shit, I've got to do this, do this in this particular order. If I don't do that, he gets seen by that guy, and then everything goes to fucking
Yeah.
shit. So you've got to do a lot of.
Fortunately, there is quick save.
There's quick save, and you use it all the time for sure. Quick save and quick
You
reload.
save scum hell
Hell of a lot,
of
absolutely.
much in this game.
Yeah, the game bloody encourages you to it. So as if it's
Yes, it actively says
yeah,
during the tutorial, you are going to need to save
you're gonna
a fucking lot.
A fucking lot in this game. So make sure you do it. Yeah, so you do a lot of just watching and observing what the various enemies do, their walking paths, that kind of stuff to figure out, okay, if I stand here, can I be seen? No, I'm good. If can I creep forward a bit? Can I stand here? Does he walk through here? Yes, he does. Lay down your bear trap. Okay, you get him, sort of stuff, and then you recover him and stuff like that. So I found it just really, really weirdly relaxing to just play that game and just
Yeah,
watch.
I could see it being a It's the same as like how Elden Ring and the Souls-like games are somewhat therapeutic for me.
Just get into sort of a zen
Like,
zone, sort of a zen of it, and just go, I'm just going to sit here and watch the screen for 20 minutes, watch all these characters do their thing, and then plan out this thing. And if it doesn't work, then shit, so be it. I know I'll get to halfway through that, I need to go that way rather than right, sort of thing. And you go, cool, and you then got a plan for it. So a lot of trial and error and a lot of that stuff. It's something you can just say, I need to do that, and that, and you just nail it really first up. But some take a fair bit of, or can take a lot of working out to figure out what's the plan, what's the best option to do particular sections of each mission. But that's what I really like those games. I mean, I may now you think about it, I may go back and start playing those Shadow Tactics ones just to get back into it. But
I'd be very interested on your take on Shadow Tactics, and they did a standalone DLC called Aiko's Choice, so I bought both of those.
yeah, I
Like,
think at one, point they were on Game Pass. I think that's where I got them from. I think
Oh, okay.
on the console list at least. So yeah.
Well, it was just a Steam sale where it would have been on for mad cheap.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So you just wait for the next one. There's one down. There's one coming sooner or later. We talked about them a few weeks back.
Yeah. Yep.
I respect the fuck out of those games, but I think I'm done. I don't have that patience to engage in the trial and error.
I think the conversation we had with you, if you don't like this mission, you ain't gonna like the rest of them because they're all just longer than that. So
it's not that I didn't like it. It's just that level of patience required, and the level of forethought, and the level of trial and error. It was just something I didn't want to like. Not that I didn't want to engage with. There are other things I want to engage with more, or at least trying to find what those other things I want to engage with more are. As we've said, I've had a bit of trouble on that recently. I think I'm done with Marvel Snap after nearly 100 hours.
Okay.
I think trying to get some of the more higher level cards that work against higher level players, it's getting to the point of either grind or just losing constantly.
Mm-hmm.
and like I've got a set sort of like order for certain cards, which one of them got nerfed in the latest patch anyway. God damn it. But I've played over nearly 100 hours of that thing. If you include the phone version, I think I've played 100 hours of that thing. It's free to play. It's in technically early access on PC. I've put more than enough time in for now where I've gotten some value out of it. So I've really enjoyed that. Forza Horizon 5, just bumming around doing some of the weekly challenges.
Yep.
Just like Saturday morning. I'm not doing all the tournament stuff and things like that because they just sort of drown a little bit or drain a little bit.
Yep.
But yeah. And I went back in and I thought, I'm going to give Apex a run. Just for shits and gigs. I saw a video of it and I'm like, I'm going to give it a go. Played 2 games and I got 4 kills in those across those 2 games. And I'm like, yo, I can still play this game. And I bailed.
Okay.
I've reinstalled it purely because I've got like 2,000 plus Apex coins.
Okay.
In that game, and there's a new event coming up, and there's a dope Nerf water gun looking skin for the flatline. So I'm going to grab that and then probably uninstall it. I was looking along amongst my games for an after work game, and remembered I had What the Golf, which is profoundly silly, but man, is it really well constructed. Some of those challenges get really hard too if you want to do the full blown, get all the crowns and 100% that game and all that sort of deal. It's a very good after work game for just 45 minutes to an hour of knock off this tier of holes and the quote unquote computer boss, and then all right, cool, next thing to do. So I really enjoy that. If I had a better VR headset, I would I've seen some VR footage of What the Bat, and that looks real dumb and cool too. One game that's not on the list. 2 games that aren't on the list. I finished off A Plague Tale: Innocence.
Yep.
Yes, that last confrontation against what's his face is a real fucker. Where he just sends all these big mouse towers down. And it's like, the first 2 waves were easy enough, but then like if you're really not on your shit, it's way too easy to just get pinned in amongst these white mice, and it's like, oh fuck you, you shitty old man.
Yep.
And then I threw my rock into his face, and he's like, and then he died, and I'm like, yeah, fuck you. And then we saved Mummy. And then went through, did the epilogue chapter, and now I'm done. So at this stage, I don't have a Sunday streaming game I'm going to play. I don't know when I'm going to get to Requiem. I do want to put some distance between the two because I think going from one straight to the other
might be a bit much. Yeah, agree with that.
Yeah, I think that might be wear on a bit. I also did a checkout for a game called Steelborn, which isn't on the list. Kotaku described it as Contra meets Titanfall. No, it's not.
Oh, I missed that one. Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, it wouldn't have, it would have been too much fucking around to fit it on there, so that's fine. Yeah, it's not very good. I got a refund on it. The checkout's on the YouTube channel. You can see why and how I don't think it's very good. It just feels very cheap and not as well put together, which is harsh to say when they spent 3 years making it. But I just didn't dig it. Exoprimal.
Yes.
Let's talk about it for a second. Because this was the other open beta that ran last week.
Yep.
During the Diablo 4 one. And I thought, I'm going to check this out. So I asked you if you wanted to check out, because a couple times I've gone to do a video and you've gone, hey, I wanted to look at that. I'm like, shit. So I thought, you want to look at this? And you're like, nah. I'm like, all right, I'll do it. The writing is profoundly fucking stupid. Like, almost embarrassingly stupid, but it's fucking hilarious. And just the concept, you see these big time bubbles open up and a bunch of dinosaurs just get dropped from it. The open beta was only there, I believe they called it Warfare mode, which was like a wave-based mode where it was like a competition between you and the other team as to how quick you can kill through these dinosaurs. And then the final round was basically the PvPvE. So both teams are in the same environment. You're shooting at each other and the dinosaurs, and you're going from there.
So
it had a really cool.
Okay, so each team is independently going towards the middle, sort of thing.
No, you're in separate environments.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Or separate versions of the same environment, from what I could tell.
So can someone get to the end before another team? In that case, can they get okay?
But I don't know what impact that actually had.
Okay, fair enough.
Because it didn't really make itself clear.
Okay, okay.
Because both times I was on the team that beat the other team through, and it's like, you're beating the other team. I'm like, yay! And then we just got to the end point of that last round, and it's like, hey, kill them. I'm like, okay. And I was on the winning team both times, but I don't know what I did, what happened to win.
Okay.
I just shot things.
Yep, fair enough.
It was fun. Like, it was. I don't think it's going to be so fun that I would buy it. It is coming out on Game Pass day one, so maybe. I've been thinking about cancelling Game Pass.
God, why?
Because that's a very good question.
Why on earth would you think that's a thing to do?
The Xbox PC app seems to be kind of shit, and like achievements don't display on the screen properly for me. It's pissing me off.
Oh God, they seem to be very bad reasons for not getting that service, but that's entirely your business.
They are very bad. I'm fully aware they're bad reasons. All right, leave me alone.
Well, you did ask, so I gave you my opinion. I think it's fucking stupid.
Exactly.
Don't do it.
It is fucking. I'm fully aware that it's fucking stupid. I'm not going to. But like, yeah, it's just weird things like that. I don't know. It's just that app is not particularly well optimized still. But is what it is. So yeah, that's coming to Game Pass day one. I think that's a very good example of a Game Pass game.
Oh, for sure. Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I think the single player on that will be just good, dumb fun. Depending on, I can't remember out. It is out.
Has it got a single player?
No, it doesn't have a date.
Does it have a single player?
July 14th. I believe there is a single. Apparently it's just multiplayer.
I thought it was just multiplayer. Yeah.
I thought there was a single player component to it, but yeah, July 14th is when that comes out. I assumed there was a single player component, but there's not, apparently. I think if there was, that'd be way better. Last two games, Vernal Edge, which is a Metroidvania game that came out last week. Turns out it'd been on my wish list for a while because the video footage looked great. It was really fun to traverse, but there was no guidance as to where to go or what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the levels just felt empty because, with the exception of either tiny little fodder enemies that did nothing, or when you hit certain areas and they turn it into a sort of battle arena with they spawn in like 3 at a time and then maybe 2 more and then that's it. It was very empty.
Okay, yep.
And then it required you to, because it's Metroidvania, you're required to have different abilities to access more different areas, more of the same areas, all this sort of stuff. But you'd go out to this Mode 7 looking part and fly around to different areas, but unless you know what you've got or where to go, you're just flying around aimlessly, going to these different levels and just running your head against the wall. So I requested a refund.
Mm-hmm.
The traversal was fun enough, but just the lack of guidance and just the sheer just running around doing fuck all really ended up just nope. Finally, Blacktail, which is a game that came out very late last year. I think like December 15th last year. It's a first-person adventure exploration game with some combat elements.
Mm-hmm.
You have a bow and arrow.
Mm-hmm.
And there's survival elements in that you're picking up sticks and feathers to make your arrows and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it's telling the origin story of Baba Yaga.
Oh, okay.
Not the John Wick version of Baba Yaga.
I assume that wasn't the case, but
the actual Slavic witch.
Mm.
Your character is named Yaga or Yaga.
Mm-hmm.
And the witch you're trying to chase after or follow the story of is Baba.
Okay.
So at some point, it's probably going to be revealed that you are that witch.
Weird. Okay.
It looks really, really nice, and the traversal and the exploration is engaging. I just like walking around and like there are apparently side missions that you get from mushrooms if you're the right moral leaning.
Mm-hmm.
if you're the wrong moral leaning, the mushrooms go rawr and start attacking you.
Oh, okay.
So you shoot them, keep shooting them with your bow and arrow until you kill them. It's actually one of the few things that's hooked me and kept me going. The story's a bit hard to follow at a more granular level. So like the Baba Yaga stuff's a bit hard. But it's like, hey, I'm looking for my name's Yaga. Well, it's in an English accent. So my name's Yaga. I'm looking for my sister Zora. There's these kids who got took by this witch. What the fuck happened? And then you fight the spirit of those kids in these big fuck off trees. It's somewhat weird, but relatively short. Like, how long to beat has it? Between 7 and I think 11 or 12 hours.
Okay. Yep.
And I'm sitting at about 4.5, and I just finished the there's 2. I think there's 4 seasons that you play through.
Okay.
So I've just finished off the summer season. So we'll see how long that keeps going for. And that's it. There's my games.
There's your games. Cool.
So, I've only got 2 news stories that I feel like are even remotely worth talking about. Shall we move to the beginning of the end and talk about them?
We should do that.
But I can't not dance to that song, Graham. It's so dancey. So realistically, only 2 stories have come up that I've taken any sort of interest or note of. The first being the Strong National Museum of Play has nominated their next 12 games for the 2023 Hall of Fame. Age of Empires, Angry Birds, Barbie Fashion Designer, Call of Duty 4, Computer Space, FIFA, GoldenEye, Last of Us, NBA 2K, Quake, Wii Sports, Wizardry. How many of those games do you know?
Probably all of them except for the Barbie one, I imagine, would be the one.
Apparently the Barbie one sold like 500,000 in like a few months.
No, wouldn't be surprised.
And there was a function where you could print the clothes made in the game on like printable fabric.
No, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So Computer Space doesn't ring any bells either, but that's probably the only 2 that...
I think Computer Space is one of the first like actual proper games, if I remember correctly. It's like a sort of Halo Tube space arcade combat game in 1971, created by Nolan Bushnell and Ted Dabney.
Okay.
First arcade game, first commercially available video game. That has to go in, surely. What would you pick as the 4?
I'm guessing they're putting FIFA 23 because it's for the entire franchise, not that particular single entry.
Because if you follow it through to the Strong website, they have both the Mega Drive, FIFA International Soccer, and FIFA 23. So I'd say it's the series.
It's the series, yeah. So you've probably got to pick the FIFA. You've probably got to go Last of Us because that game really did. It's now, gone in even further. Age of Empires, I think you've got to pick that one. And then it's really, I think, between Quake, Call of Duty, and GoldenEye, I think, for the 4th one for me. I'd probably lean towards GoldenEye, if I'm honest, but yeah, nothing.
Yeah. I'm gonna, as much as I'm as loathed as I am to say it, I think it's Angry Birds, I think it's Modern Warfare, I think it's FIFA, and it's either Quake or Wii Sports.
So wait a second.
I think
if they don't make it, they get in next time. They get in next list, don't they? Or is it they're one and done? How's it work?
They have the ability to be nominated next time, yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I think it's like Basketball Hall of Fames and things like that.
Yeah. What exactly is their criteria? That's the question. What is their criteria? Okay, they're based on 4 criteria: icon, status, longevity, geographical reach, and influence. 2022's inductees include MS Pac-Man, Sid Meier's Civilization, Dance Dance Revolution, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. So based on that description now, I'll probably change my thing and probably put in Call of Duty, because that has been massive. Likewise,
the XPification of games.
Yeah, basically. I'd say FIFA then has to stay in there for the same reason.
Mm-hmm.
Wii Sports, that came out of nowhere for that particular console, so that probably comes into the mix from my perspective now. And I still think The Last of Us has to go in there for those 4 reasons. I think. I mean, you think of what that is now.
I feel like it's too early for The Last of Us.
Yeah,
I feel like Quake or even Angry Birds might go in ahead of it.
But yeah, I guess the question is, what's the longevity of Angry Birds? Not really that much to me.
Not really, but there was a movie and there was a shitload of merchandise.
Yeah, there was, but then there's now a TV series and 2 big games from The Last of Us, so
Yeah.
I think it depends on how you kind of classify or influence. Like
quantify what
influence is obviously clear with a game like Call of Duty, and that's probably the only one that really matters for influence. Geographical reach, that's definitely FIFA for absolute sure. Longevity, if we're looking obviously the series, then FIFA's been around for ages. So is Call of Duty. So is NBA 2K. Icon status, that's where you're probably looking more on the Quake and Angry Birds. They're probably more they're on the and GoldenEye. They're probably your icon status ones. But there's not one that I don't think ticks.
I don't think they're doing the Quake series.
That's what I mean. Like that's what I'm saying. Is like I don't think there's one that ticks all 4 boxes completely. If that makes sense. So realistically,
if they were doing all of Quake, so Quakes 1, 2, 3, and 4, I think you cannot have Quake not in there because of how much, like, Call of Duty Modern Warfare had some of the Quake 3 engine code in it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's it. Yeah, like that's what I mean.
You have to have that. But
yeah, when you look at influence, then that's clearly Quake is definitely up there. But then, as I said, Call of Duty took that and ran with it massively. So, and even Quake's now hasn't had a game.
Doom's already in there.
Yeah, so that's probably where.
So that might be reason enough for Quake not to go in because Doom is already there as the precursor.
Yeah, for that one.
There. Like, Wizardry is apparently has, like, very deep roots back in the Commodore 64, I think. Helps if I type it right. Series of role-playing games, highly influential in the evolution of the modern role-playing video game. So first came out in 1981. There was one in 2014. So, given what RPGs are, and like, if that influenced WoW, there's elements where that fucker's going in. I think we end up hearing. When are they making the decision?
Yeah, so the games
May 4th.
The games we just listed, the public vote for those has closed as of a couple of days ago. So people only get a week to vote for them. So the games were announced on the 15th of March, and then for that week until the 22nd of March, the public can vote for it, and that public will collectively act as one member of the committee. So they basically the public counts as one vote ultimately on the committee's decision. And as you say, the final inductees were revealed on Thursday, the 4th of May. So now I guess it's now down to the
board,
or the
board of the strong,
the committee to decide what are the choices ultimately.
There's a part of me that really wants to be able to gamble on this. To be able to see what the odds are and to bet on it.
I'm curious as to who's actually on the board, but it probably doesn't.
The board for the strong?
Yeah. I'm not seeing any mention of who's actually on it.
Yeah, all of these links just keep going to VentureBeat articles.
Yeah, I'm not.
So that's kind of annoying.
I'm on the main actual strong website and it doesn't seem to mention it at all.
They probably don't want to publicise who's on there because you just open it up for internet fuckwits to just harass them and shit like that.
Yeah, I can understand
if their games don't go in.
Yeah, I can understand that. So
this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, pretty much, exactly.
Internet fuckheads.
The main ballot is voted
I
on by
find myself saying that phrase quite a lot lately.
The main ballot is voted on by the International Selection Advisory Committee of Judges. So that's what they call themselves.
I'd love to know who those judges are.
That's what I mean. I'd like to know who they are. Is it other games journalists? Who is it? Like, is it people from the industry? Is it like,
John Romero
and Sid Meier and Warren Spector and stuff? Not Warren Spector. No. Yeah, like those sort of guys. Is it that sort of people, or is it fucking
Jason
Dan Reichert?
Schreier.
Is it Jason Schreier and fucking Dan Reichert or something on that? Who fucking knows? But yeah, is it industry? Is it journalism? Is it industry? Is it both? I don't know. Anyway,
interesting.
Interesting. We shall wait and see who gets in.
One of the other interesting announcements during the week is that Lego is partnering with 2K to make it their own open world racing game called Lego 2K Drive. Apparently the Lego stuff did really well in Forza, so now they're going to do their own.
Basically, yeah.
And it's coming out May 19th.
Yeah. This is good. Like, they've announced the game is coming out in 3 months. Great. This is really good. Not announce a game and then 3 years later it comes out kind of thing. This is really good.
And I think it sounds really interesting. The name Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts was invoked in one of the articles.
Yeah,
the one we're referring to.
Yeah.
And it's like, that game was dope.
So it looks to be like...
There's three different versions.
Yeah, look, before you get into that, there's it seems to be open world of some description, but there is some sort of story element. You're like a rookie driver that's trying to work through the ranks or something like that. As you imagine, it's got the destructible worlds and stuff like that. You've got character building, car customization, including over 1,000 unique Lego pieces to find and unlock through the adventure and use to create custom vehicles. So yeah, it's got an interesting concept to it. But there are, as you said, 3 editions of this game. So you want to go through those because they get really, really expensive towards the end.
Yeah, they do. So the standard edition is actually $89.95 on Steam.
Yep.
I've already looked this up. So, and it's got both Amazon JB and EB all have $89 on the current gen, $79 on past gen. So this is coming out on damn near everything.
Yeah, Switch,
PlayStation 5, Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC through Steam.
Yeah, and the ending ones.
So there's the standard edition.
Yep.
The awesome edition, of course, making reference to the film, which is part of the reason why, leading up to recording, I couldn't stop singing "Everything is Awesome," which was doing my own head in. $150, 3-day early access, new vehicle flare, in-game Lego minifigure, 1-year drive pass, which will introduce an all-new biome, in addition to 4 individual post-launch seasons of drive pass content with new vehicles and themes. The awesome Rivals edition just has an additional Rivals pack. It's everything in the Awesome Edition, but it also includes what's called a Rivals Pack. I looked it up on Steam because that description doesn't really actually outline what you actually get for it. It is quite funny that the announcement trailer is hosted by Vicky Wheeler and Parker Carr. Definitely Lego names. There is no way they're real people names. This could be awesome.
Yeah, that's the potential.
Yeah. But it also could be shit because what's Visual Concepts pedigree in the video game car space?
I think it's actually quite good, isn't it? I don't
think Visual Concepts have done a car game for quite some time.
But didn't they do? Haven't they done? God, come on, games. I thought they did one of those sort of slightly niche games, but maybe I'm thinking of something else.
You maybe think which slightly niche game are you talking about?
Not
Test Drive Unlimited?
No, like Corsetto something? Corsetto...
Oh, Assetto Corsetta or whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, that's some really weird odd name. I thought that was them, but I'm not... Obviously I'm not right, so...
I don't think it is. I think that's someone else.
It is, because the games they talk about on their website are under our games is 2K, WWE 2K, and NBA 2K, and that's it. And they've got the golf game as well. They got a golf.
The golf game is coming out very shortly. It is coming out on the 7th of April. Yeah. No, it's not. That's EA Sports.
They did have a golf game a couple of years though. The guys back because we played it.
Yes.
I thought we did.
EA Sports PGA Tour is coming out on April 7th. I could have sworn there was a PGA golf game. You're right. It'd be 2K24. PGA 2K24. Oh. If there is a PGA 2K24, it wouldn't be until like October-ish. So it hasn't been announced yet. I think EA is going back to the Tiger Woods sort of engine.
Yeah, no, for sure. Now there's no. I thought.
Which, hey, those games were great.
Oh yeah, they were good. I'm looking forward to that. I think that golf game might actually be quite good. I may end up getting it. But yeah, no,
yeah, I was going to say because this was delayed to be released in time with the Masters.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so anyway. looking Wikipedia, all they've got is WK, NBA, WWE, and that's pretty much it.
So Visual Concepts used to do the NFL and NHL 2K games back in the day. They're legacy games now, but
they've got that's all they've got. Pretty much alternated between those two, NBA and WWE for like the last decade or so. Yeah, and early decade they did Major League and NHL as well, but they've stopped. They've been stopped. So.
Oh, that's right. They did MLB 2K as well. I forgot about that.
Yep. So NHL, NBA.
Yeah, that's right.
ML, and then they had also college stuff early on as well, but again, that's all stopped. So.
Yeah. That NFL 2K was fucking great. The one that came out at like $30. It was like half the price of Madden, and it was a better game.
A better game, yeah.
Oh, anyway.
Anyway, we'll keep an eye on that one to see what that's like.
Indeed, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
It's nice to be that way sometimes.
Yeah.
So basically, that's gonna do it for the week. There are a few games coming out this week that I'm actually looking forward to. A couple on our usual Wikipedia list not there. So Terra Nil, that's one you're greatly looking forward to.
Yep, looking at out in a couple of days. Yep.
So that's out in a couple of days. The Rally Adventure for Forza Horizon 5 is out this week as well. Which I'm cautiously optimistic of that. I will always play more Horizon.
No, for sure.
As indicated by the 280 odd hours I've spent in Horizon 5. But I'm looking forward to that. 9 Years of Shadows is a Metroidvania that comes out on PC this week. Are you going to be hitting up MLB The Show?
Yeah, it's on Game Pass, I think, so I'll probably have a look at it to see.
Yep.
And I actually saw an article somewhere, I don't know where it was, I read it, but they had the top 10 ranked games by ranking in that particular this year's release, and my Atlanta Braves were ranked number 1. I'm not really sure how or why, but they have done that. So yeah.
Well, they won the World Series, so that'd be pretty reasonable to put them at number 1.
A couple of years ago they ran it, not last year, so that's why I'm thinking it's a bit surprising. But
who won it last year?
The Astros. Was the Astros?
That's right.
I think it was the Astros.
I think you're right.
Pretty sure it was them. Although they in the World Series. Pretty sure it was them.
Okay. It was the Houston Astros.
It was the Houston Astros. Pretty sure it was.
Winning over the Philadelphia Phillies 4-2.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. Last of Us. Sorry. Go on.
You go.
Last of Us Part 1 comes out on Steam this week, as does that weird crime boss Rockhaze City, which is that, I think, multiplayer first-person shooter with a bunch of Hollywood people in it.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Which is like that's like the ultimate throwback type game in about 4 different ways. Which really weirds me out. And a game called Dredge, which has gotten a lot of positive reviews in the last week. it's being classed as a fishing adventure.
Okay.
With some Lovecraftian elements. Which I might check out. I haven't decided yet. But 9 Years of Shadow is the big one I'm looking for this week, because that's that Metroidvania style. Which, I like me a Metroidvania.
Mm-hmm. You do.
And then, obviously, the reverse city building for Terra Nil for Graham.
Yep.
Something for everyone.
Yes, indeed.
Fuck everyone else. I mean, what? Did you have a look at the emails?
Nope.
Okay, fair enough. Podcast at shouldiplaythisgame.com is the email address. Probably would be good if I said the whole address properly. Should I play this game on YouTube, where this will go up, and then Friday Night Fight Night and Kicking It Old School. Fuck, I haven't recorded an episode for Kicking It Old School yet. I should probably get on that. I just left Dathomir for the second time.
Okay, fair enough.
after getting the Holocron, and I picked up that witch sister. I can't remember her name. It's really striking a bell with me. That game's pretty good.
Yeah.
But fighting that fucker, that scarred up dipshit with the 2 lightsabers, that fight was a fucker. Anyway. No must listens for me this week, as I haven't really listened too much to a full album. But possibly next time there have been some things released. But for now, Graham Banks.
Yeah.
That was meant to be your opportunity to say goodbye.
Oh, goodbye.
Say goodbye.
Say goodbye.
Well done. And for me, the Steve. Should I start referring to myself as the Steve?
Please, no.
Fair enough. For me, Steve. For he, Graham. And we'll be back next week with some sort of video content, and then in 2 weeks' time with yet another podcast, yet another episode of the Should I Play This Game podcast. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.